Unit 6. Stand up for your rights.
1. The legacy of the Little Rock Nine.
This is Talk of the Nation. I'm Anthony Brooks in Washington. When 9 students marched into Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas 50 years ago, it heralded the demise of legal segregation in schools, and many believed that it would inevitably lead to greater racial integration on all levels of society. Half a century later, that doesn't appear to be true. Racial separation persists in our friendships, at church, in our neighborhoods, and especially in the communities where we live. Most of us tend to live in neighborhoods where the people around us look the same as we do. To some degree, this segregation is a matter of choice. To some degree, it represents separation by economic class. And joining me to begin the hour from Michigan Radio in Ann Arbor is Matthew Lassiter. He's an associate professor of history at the University of Michigan and the author of The Silent Majority, Suburban Politics in the Sun Belt South. Welcome, Matt Lassiter. Great to have you on the show.
It's great to be here today.
Matt, you've done a lot of work looking at housing patterns in America. What's the quick summation of where we are now? Are Americans choosing to live in neighborhoods that are more diverse than they once were?
In some respects they are, but I think it's important to put the idea of choice and the free market in historical context, because public policies have shaped patterns of housing segregation in this country just the same as they shape patterns of school segregation. And especially in the 1930s, 1940s, and 1950s, a whole constellation of federal policies, federal housing policies, subsidizing suburbs but requiring segregation, combined with the marketplace, the private marketplace and suburban homeowners especially, to keep minorities out. And the legacy of this is very clear. Where we live today and the way metropolitan regions look, it's more diverse than it was 30 or 40 years ago, but we still remain stuck with the legacy of the post-war period of metropolitan development in very segregated fashion that happened at the same time as the Brown decision and was protested in many of the same ways by the civil rights movement. But we don't talk about that part of the civil rights movement as much as we do Little Rock and Alabama and Mississippi and the more familiar stories.